Good evening, everybody. It's 9:30 on the East Coast, 6:30 on the West Coast. On a Monday, it must mean it's time for your weekly Calamity Jane live stream. James, how are you doing this evening? I almost said Calamity correctly, but not didn't quite get there.
Yeah, there's a couple of syllables in there, but you're much better. You have mastery over the opening,
Yeah.
So I always, no matter what, I think there's no point in me even trying to say
uh,
anything to even add to that because your practice with it at this point is so much better than mine. So I'm doing great on my side, and I hope
That's
you're doing
good.
well as well.
Yeah, yeah, I am. Getting back into the groove of things. Mondays are sometimes like I had an insanely busy weekend, so this Monday in particular, it was hard to get back in the groove of.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I was in a show on Saturday for first time in over a year, and that was pretty exciting. And then yesterday, Katie and I were out and about being busy beavers. We drove all over the place and took Anton to the dog park, hung out with some friends. It was a busy Sunday, so I woke up this morning feeling it a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Just the wear and tear of going all over the place and
Yep, yeah, the wear and tear of being on the older side now.
I don't know.
Uh,
Sometimes, yeah, being on the older side sucks. There's no doubt about it. There's not much. It's not. There's no less perks for sure.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no, it was a great weekend though. But yeah, I had a good time.
Cool. Cool. Well, I can roll into what we're working on this week and kind of
That
go from there.
sounds great.
Um, so here we go. Um, yeah, and anybody who's ever seen our stream or joining for the first time, this is where Eric and I hang out in the writers' room, and I work on animation for our cartoon while we kind of talk about pop culture stuff. So, welcome newcomers and welcome old comers, as we mentioned,
Hmm.
old people as
Yeah,
ourselves. So,
welcome back. Welcome back,
yeah,
as
welcome
always.
back. Yeah. So in this scene, I'm going to be working on more of Uncle Leon pushing Calamity over. We got that part blocked out,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's got to remove his poncho. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm right there. I got the pose for the arm, and I got to flick it up and then zoom in on him to tilt his head
Nice.
up, and to reveal that he is actually indeed Uncle Leon. So that's
Nice.
the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, as far as topics, I'm not sure if you had one off top of mind for you, but I definitely got
Well,
one.
great. Let's hear it.
We went and saw Amit and I went and saw Mortal Kombat 2. I dragged her, unfortunately, for her to go
Uh-huh.
see Mortal Kombat 2.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Um, I love Urban. I think he's great in anything he does.
Yeah.
So I was I was pretty much, and I wasn't grinning ear to ear the entire time, but I was enjoying it a lot,
Mm-hmm.
because it gets the nostalgia feels because again, we're older heads. So I remember
Uh-huh.
Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 and all that stuff. It was a really fun movie. I thought it was a good video game translated movie. I think they're getting better and better at doing that
Wow.
these
Wow.
days.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard anything about it or if you're even intrigued to go see it,
I
but
am. It's just been I've been so busy
yeah.
that like going to a movie is just not really on my list of things to do right now.
Mhm.
Um I'd like to see it in theaters. It seems like a movie that'd be great to see in theaters, but I'd have to find like, a few hours to go commit to it, quite frankly. And I just
Mhm.
not in that headspace. So I'll probably just catch it eventually when it comes to, streaming. But yeah, I am definitely interested in it though.
Yeah. I thought Urban would be a weird cast, for
For Johnny
Johnny Cage.
Cage, yeah.
Yeah, but he does, he's such a good actor. It didn't matter. The
Mm-hmm.
lines, he delivered the lines, he delivered his lines with his version of Johnny Cage. I thought it was great. There's a scene where, one of the classic, you always have standoff, one versus one fight scenes, and he has one with Baraka about midway through the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a great scene. Yeah, he's just he once again he's just done a great job with whatever role he gets.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Mm-hmm.
terrific. I'm just a huge fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not much else to say to it. Yeah, overall it was great. Obviously there's a sequel that's going to be kind of in play.
It doesn't
Yeah,
surprise me, yeah.
yeah, of
My
course.
the little I know, it seems like for an R-rated video game movie, it's doing pretty well.
Uh-huh.
It's an odd position to be in. Um uh because not as many people are going to see movies as they used to, and one of the more generally speaking, if you can keep a movie at PG-13, it'll do
Yep.
better. I mean, at least that's the that's the claim.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
sweet spot, right?
yeah, yeah, and obviously being an R-rated movie, that's not going to be the case. But all things considered, it seems like it's doing about what they expected, especially given that it's a sequel to a movie that came out only on streaming platforms in the middle of the pandemic, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah, I mean, it took a couple of years for it to come out, right? A sequel. So yeah,
hmm,
6 years. Like, gosh,
well, not the middle of the
it's
pandemic, but the tail end of the pandemic, though.
yeah, yeah. So, um, waiting around for it, it was kind of a slog, I guess. But
Hmm.
um, overall, though, it was yeah. I wasn't clamoring to see it either. But I was just happy. It's something to go do on a. We went and saw it on Friday night and thought, oh,
Hmm.
why not?
Yeah,
And
sure.
but it was fun. It was a fun movie to go see, kind of just before the summer starts. You get to see something like this, and
Hmm.
yeah. Overall, though, it was great.
Nice.
Another movie I saw, kind of worth noting, it's on Netflix called it's Sally Field's movie that just kind of came out. Remarkably Bright Creatures. It's so out there. It's
No,
about
never. I haven't heard of this one. No.
yeah, maybe you and Katie should check it out if you're really
Yeah.
bored. You want to just check out something kind of different. It's got this kind of feel like it's like a Hallmark movie, but not. The
Okay.
main character, the main character is a cleaning lady who takes care of an aquarium, and the narration is done with an octopus that she takes care of
Oh,
in
I
the
did see the
aquarium.
preview for this. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do think it's worth a watch. I mean, people say that nothing creative is, nothing unique ever comes out anymore. Well, if you want to see a movie with an octopus as the narrator, well, yeah, then you should probably check this out.
Hmm. Hmm.
Ironically, it's the voice of the octopus is Alfred Molina, who is Doc Ock in the Spider-Man
Right.
movies.
Yeah.
I don't
That.
know if they meant that to be kind of
Yeah.
a on the nose thing. He's great though as a
Uh-huh.
narrator.
Uh-huh.
I do want kind of want to throw it out there as a very unique movie. It's sort of sappy, but it's still so strange that
Hmm.
it held my attention all the way through.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So another one worth mentioning, as we talk, going over movies, at least for me tonight that we saw.
Hmm.
So yeah, um, yeah. So that's kind of what I've been seeing lately.
Okay. All right. I haven't really been watching a lot of filmed entertainment of late. I'm still on my obsessive reread of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series.
Mhm,
A few pages away from finishing off book 6 again, and then all that's left is book 7 before I can move on to the new book that just came out last week.
mhm,
Um and it's been getting the new book's been getting good reviews, so that's encouraging to see that the momentum hasn't been lost. But other than that, I've uh been uh playing Vampire Crawlers, I think is the main game that I have been playing.
mhm,
Although I was recently reminded of why I play console games.
mhm,
I was gonna just pop on something, and there wasn't anything I really wanted to play on my Switch. And so I'm like, oh, I'll just sit down and play a game on my PC. And you know, it's it's always like with the Switch, you just turn it on and it works. You don't think about it, right?
mhm.
It just
Yeah.
works. But I was launching a new game that I hadn't played before, and so you launch it, and they try to pre-guess what your settings are, and they never get it right. So you always come in, and everything looks like garbage because everything
Mhm,
is set too low. So you have to go in and you have to manually change all the settings. Um, and I hadn't been playing Doom: The Dark Ages in a while, and for a number of reasons, I had to reinstall Steam and thereby reinstall Doom: Dark Ages. So it's supposed to save your settings and stuff, but some things were acting funky and it wasn't working correctly. And so I started tweaking settings, and all of a sudden I tweaked some setting that I couldn't figure out, and I was getting all these red like little dots in the dark areas of the game. It's like you would walk around and it would like the black areas of the game would sparkle with weird red dots.
yeah. Not cool.
Yeah, so I googled it, and Google's idiot AI um, said, "Oh, it just means that your graphics card is dying." And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense because my computer's running fine. I can play any other game that I want. It runs fine. Like, it's only happening with the Doom the Dark Ages. There's nothing even remotely similar happening anywhere else. So I kept futzing around with the settings, and it turns out the ray tracing algorithm that I had accidentally set the ray tracing system to was set to an algorithm that my graphics card didn't do well. And when I changed it from the DLSS um, renderer back to the NVIDIA native renderer, all of a sudden everything worked fine. And I don't even remember changing that setting. Like, it's a setting within a setting, right? You have to turn
Yeah,
path
yeah,
tracing on before you can even tweak this drop down menu. So I don't even know how I managed to do it, right? But suffice it to say, what was supposed to be me sitting down and playing Doom the Dark Ages for, a couple of hours ended up me spending 2 hours just getting the game to run properly again. And for a brief minute, thinking that my $1,500 graphics card was on the fritz, right? And then I remembered, oh, it's just Google's AI and it's wrong 90% of the time. And calmed down a little bit, but still, there was like a half a second, you know, um,
yeah,
because there wasn't, the actual Google search. Once you scroll down outside of the stupid AI nonsense, um, uh, there was no information on it whatsoever, right?
hmm
It was just, it was all weird, like other artifacting bugs that was not what was related to what I was going through. And so it was only through my own personal debugging that I figured out what the problem was. Now, why it was a problem, I don't know. I also don't care. It works fine now. But rather than spending 2 hours playing a game, I spent 2 hours debugging a game, right? And it's just like,
yeah,
oh, right, this is why I play console games, right?
hmm
So,
yeah. It's weird how, and I mean, Google AI is not the only one that's guilty of this. I think Claude. I mean, now that I've looked at, I mean, I've kind of dabbled with all of them. I just don't understand the overconfidence that AI gives you,
mm,
and it really taps into your human wanting to communicate what, oh, I know what the problem is, it's this, and it feels so certain about it. And when
yeah,
you call it out, it gives you the canned I apologize kind of thing and everything like
right,
that. But it is kind of infuriating because you almost treat it like a friend or a human that's on the other side of a chat window telling you, oh, for sure it's this, kind of a thing. um, so I do find that kind of a pitfall, where you have to kind of eliminate your, at least for me, the need to anthropomorphize the response that you get back, because it is just a bunch of zeros and ones and it's just scattered the internet and giving you the most popular clicked on thing or whatever it is that they
yeah,
use for the algorithm to give you back in a conversational reply, right? So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the LLM that it's using to generate this answer took a bunch of like red splotches are in fact an indication that a graphics card is dying,
hmm
right?
Yep.
That is accurate. um but it didn't take into consideration the fact that my keyword search was it's like specifically Doom the Dark Ages, specifically only under this particular circumstance, right? It just looked at like just a few. It said, basically the
hmm
LLM was like, Doom is a video game. Red splotches can indicate
hmm
graphics card issues. There's your answer. And I was like, no,
Yeah.
it's not. Your prediction algorithm failed. Google Gemini or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I don't know. I'm one of these people who is just not worried about AI at all. Um,
hmm
I just every time there's a new social hysteria about the latest thing that AI is doing, I look at it and I'm like, I that doesn't really scare me that much. Um,
Yeah, the only problem with it, yeah, I'm with you on that. There is one concern, and that is the hype of it. People that don't know any better do buy into the hype,
right,
and
right,
that's what we're kind of stuck with. Like, I know, I mean, my old, where I was raised in Utah, I know in Box Elder they're putting a giant, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank is putting a giant, he's part of this, he's spearheading a giant data center to be put in a box elder, and people are protesting it. They're not happy
Right.
with it. They're yelling at the representatives, and then Kevin O'Leary is, and this is classic replies. Oh, they're busting them in from where?
From where?
This
Yeah.
box elder. It's
Yeah.
like, those people. And then I've seen the videos. Those people look like they're local Utahns, like people I grew up with. That are really upset. But
Yeah.
that's the problem is,
Yeah.
you and I can, I think I'm with you. I'm 100% with you with LLMs and all that stuff. But the hype is real, meaning people are
Yeah.
buying into it. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
what sucks.
Oh, I mean, the histrionics surrounding everything involving data centers is hilarious. It's like, every problem that people are having with it are legitimate. I'm not trying to, deny the issues that these new data centers are posing, but like if you look at the actual statistics, the amount of water that data centers use are less than what a golf course use. Right now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you would have a discussion of whether or not golf courses should exist or not. I'm right there with you, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
golf courses are an obnoxious affront to nature, in my opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't think we should be spending as much water as we are on golf courses. But the fact remains is that as a environmental impact directly, data centers are no worse than golf courses on the water supply, right?
Uh-huh.
And so it's just like, yeah, is it a problem? Sure. Is it panic worthy? No. But then, like the social contagion, like you were just saying, takes a hold, and then people don't think about it rationally, and then inevitably overcompensate for their histrionics, and right. And it's just like, we should have an intelligent, rational conversation about the environmental impacts that data centers have on environments and what they do to the communities that are involved with it, and find workable solutions that are advantageous to everybody, right?
Sure.
Because these data
Sure.
centers also hold the information of the internet, and without them, the internet doesn't exist, right? So
But
there
here's
has
a
to be trade-offs.
yeah, my here and maybe I'm being oversimplifying this. Again, I haven't read on the exact data of how much water or what the environmental impacts are. I know there's a lot of alarmists that are out there
Yeah.
that don't like it, but my understanding with data centers are we already have the internet. So we need data centers for a giant SSD storage container for a particular corporation to just access their stuff to give you an LLM answer. That's how I'm seeing it, but correct me if
Some of
I'm
them
wrong on
are.
that.
No, no, some of them are. There's no
Yeah.
question about it.
Yeah.
Some of them are data centers only uh, storing, uh, you know, education algorithms for AI. Yeah, that is absolutely true, but
Okay.
not all of them,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
The internet grows every day. The amount of
Sure. Yeah.
information internet, it's not a static thing. It's constantly growing. So
Hmm.
whether or not a data center is being used to educate an AI or is just being used to store the infrastructure of the internet, it's the same thing. It uses the same
Hmm.
amount of
Hmm.
water, it creates the same amount of heat, it takes up the same amount of environmental footprint, right?
Hmm.
Um, and so it's the whole AI thing is just been tagged onto it to add to the social hysteria,
Hmm.
right? Um, and again, I'm not like saying that what their concerns are false, because I agree with them ideologically that this is something that can potentially have a huge amount of environmental impact. But the way that I think a lot of these alarmists are approaching it is just way, way, way too much on the histrionic side and not enough on the, hey, let's take a step back and see if we can find a middle ground here without,
Hmm. Hmm.
destroying the internet as we know it, right? Um, and so I don't know. I just, whenever I see a mass movement in a particular direction about a new technology, my gut instinct is to say social hysteria, right? Because the
Hmm.
things that people are saying about AI and about the infrastructure that's used to support it as well as the internet reminds me of, historical articles of kings and their cronies talking about how the printing press was going to destroy the world, right? How the
Yeah.
novel was going to kill the oratory tradition of storytelling, how video
Hmm.
games were going to rot the brains of our children, how
Hmm.
television was going to kill radio, how radio was going to kill books, how movies were going to, how television was going to kill movies, how movies were going to kill radio. I mean, it's just, it just smacks of social contagion to me.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a transitionary technology transitional period for technology, and it's just kind of boring to me. I mean, I don't know, maybe someone could convince me that this time is different, but to this point, all of the research, all of the articles that I have read have not convinced me that this is any different um a social hysteria than any of the other previous social hysterias that have happened over and over and over and over and over again since the dawn
Mm-hmm.
of humanity, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
um you know, I mean, they banned pinball in New York City, for God's sake, over similar social hysterics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now we look back on it and we think about, oh, how quaint, how naive, how ignorant it was. And what I want to avoid is having another one of these situations where we overcorrect, you know, and do something along the lines of banning pinball in New York City, and then have to walk back all of these policies that were instituted in an irrational state, and then look on it as yet another embarrassing moment in human history, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we're humans, so that is exactly what's going to happen. I don't feel like there's any way to prevent it, and you just kind of have to sit there and go, okay, fine. This is what we were going to panic about now. Then great. We always seem to need to have something to panic about. Why not it be this?
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, again, I haven't read that much about it to see the environmental impacts for what people are
And
about, like
it's
the water usage, for example. I
yeah,
mean, I've seen things where people are saying that people that have data centers in their backyard, energy consumption goes up 20% or something like that, or their
right,
bill goes up 20%. I don't know.
yeah,
I
and that
haven't, I
is
mean, I'm only seeing that.
yeah, and that's
And
true.
I, you know,
And that is happening, and that's a problem, and we need to have that conversation,
yeah,
right? Like, that
yeah,
shouldn't be the case. Data centers should have to pay their own way, and it should not
yeah.
impact the communities that they're drawing energy from. But at the same time, what people aren't talking about is a huge percentage of these new data centers, Google and Amazon and all these places, they're actually building new electrical infrastructure to
Mm-hmm,
mitigate the consequences of that, right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But no one ever wants to talk about that, unfortunately. And again, I'm not defending these companies, because there are trade-offs in all of this stuff,
Yeah.
but there are trade-offs, and no one seems to want to take a rational perspective on
Mm-hmm,
it, right?
mm-hmm,
um you know and yeah, they're one of the serious concerns, and it's something that needs to be fixed, is like, in terms of water, the usage isn't so much the issue. What it does to the infrastructure that's not ready to support the amount of water that it uses, right? Like, you
mm-hmm,
hear
mm-hmm,
stories of people's water pressure going down to zero because it's all being taken up by the data center. That's not a water usage issue, it's a water infrastructure issue, and that's serious, and it needs to be handled, and it's not okay that that's being affecting people, right? But
mm-hmm,
we can't find workable solutions if we're all screaming at clouds, right?
mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I look at all of it, and I see all of the earmarks of social contagion, and I just have a knee jerk reaction to say that everybody is way, way, way
You
too
want to
panicked
be.
about this. Yeah.
You're skeptical about it, but you're also
Yeah.
skeptical about the benefits of AI as well. You're pretty much
Absolutely.
just down the middle.
I'm just down the
It's
middle
pretty much
entirely. Yeah. There's
you're
never
indifferent.
there's never anything good, all good. There's never anything all bad, as a general rule,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
AI is fun to mess around with. It's fun to make silly songs with lyrics that you made up. It's fun to make dumb images that you can share with your friends. If you're looking for very basic factual information, like someone's birthday, it's pretty reliable, right? But
Sure.
anytime I've tried to use it for anything other than just novelty, it's failed 100% of the time, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
When I was unemployed briefly, I tried to use it to generate a cover letter for me. I had to throw it away because it was completely worthless, right?
Hmm.
Um, I think that the music it produces, the voices are extremely tinny, and they sound like robots, and they're not particularly fun to listen to,
Hmm.
right? Beyond the novelty of the silly lyrics, as an actual piece of music, it's garbage, right?
It's great. I'm being cynical here too, but it's great to write pop music with it.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely. I mean, it just sounds auto-tuned. It sounds great.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
you
Well, I
know,
mean, and the lyrics are kind of hammy and corny,
yeah, yeah,
and you could tell the pattern that they pull from, which
yep,
is like stars. It's
exactly.
always about stars,
Mm-hmm.
galaxy, neon lights.
Yep.
Those are all things that keeps going.
Yep.
It keeps going through with the
And
pattern.
we've
I've
already
seen.
done a lot of work in terms of the intellectual property issues. I mean, it's been decided that the U.S. Patent Office or Copyright Office has declared that you can't copyright AI generated art. Right?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
yeah,
That's
hmm
good news. That was the right decision, right?
yeah.
And so if an artist comes with a copyright claim against a piece of AI generated art, then absolutely they can sue them. They can, you know, take this to civil court and work on fixing the problem, right? But things need to happen in moderation. And I feel like moderation is the one thing human beings are incapable of doing.
hmm
Um, so like, yeah. So anyway, that's my soapbox for the evening on AI.
hmm yeah, but regardless, it'll definitely be in our headlines for the next, I don't know, 2, 3 years until it maybe calms down a little bit. I
I
guess we'll
mean, they
see.
they didn't
Mhm.
legalize pinball in New York City for like 50 years. So
Wow.
by
Yeah,
that point,
I
people
did
had
not know the
Super
history.
Nintendos in their bedroom.
That's funny. Yeah, I didn't know that about New York City and pinball.
Hmm.
But the rest of the country, I guess, was fine with it, right? I
Well,
mean, I'm assuming.
it was they based on spurious information. I read all this. There's an amazing book about the history of um, uh, uh, pinball called the 10 Cent Plague. Great book, highly recommend it.
Okay.
That is the 10 Cent Plague is drawn from a headline in the New York Times, I believe, or one of New
Uh-huh.
York's newspapers, talking about the menace that was pinball. And
Uh-huh.
the reason it was a menace is because the powers that be claimed that organized crime was using pinball machines to one of two things: one, support gambling,
hmm
and or two, launder money through individual, like 10 cents at a time as you put it
hmm
into a pinball machine, right? Just
hmm
absolutely ridiculous things. In fact, this may have been New York or it may have been in another location, but to and New York City wasn't the only place that banned pinball. I think it's probably the most notorious, but
hmm
um, there was another place where to repeal the law banning pinball because it was gambling, they actually brought a pro pinball player in to prove that it wasn't completely random. Like it got that ridiculous that they had to bring in a professional pinball player to prove
hmm
that it wasn't gambling. I mean, like, and these are the kinds of histrionics that I see being mirrored in the current state of our technology panic that's going on right now.
Uh-huh. Well, I, for one, I'm all for pinball. I think pinball's a lost video
I
game
love
form
pinball.
of
I love
entertainment.
pinball. Yeah.
I do miss the practical effects, if you
Oh
will,
my God, the
of what,
physicality
especially,
of it.
yeah. I think my favorite version of a pinball game was probably Jurassic Park
That's a
because it
great
had the
one.
big T-Rex. The T-Rex was like in the corner, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it would go down and try to grab the ball. I mean, it was such a cool way to pass time,
Mm-hmm.
in the arcades. Star Wars was a really good one too. I like that one a lot as well.
The Phantom
Um,
Menace one was excellent.
oh, I didn't play that one.
Yeah,
What
it's
was it? Was
excellent.
Darth Maul in that one
Yeah,
floating
I
around
believe so. And I
someplace?
think there was, if I remember correctly, there's like a Naboo starfighter on it.
Oh,
Um,
that's really cool. Yeah.
and then there's a really, really impressive one called The Wizard of Oz. It's based on The Wizard of Oz. And Katie and I went to a pinball museum last
Uh-huh.
year,
Yeah.
and almost all of the pinball machines were free except for this one, and I believe it was the Wizard of Oz one. Maybe it was a different one, but like I bring it up because there are like boutique pinball manufacturers still who are making these they're practically art pieces. They're so intricate, and they have like
Uh-huh.
high definition LCD screens in the back, and they actually play clips
Oh,
of the movies.
that's really cool.
It's absolutely cool.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And whether
So
it was Wizard of Oz or a different one, I don't remember. That was the only one that cost money to play in the entire museum.
yeah, but it's well worth it for something
Yeah,
like that. For that experience, that's pretty cool. I mean, come on. If you're seeing footage of what you're playing, kind of playing in
yeah,
the background, that's
yeah.
really neat.
Well, just the
Yeah.
physicality, the sounds of being
Hmm.
in a
Yeah.
pinball arcade, right? Like
Yeah.
hearing the balls clack off the glass
Hmm.
ceiling of the machines,
Yeah.
the the chimes and the bells going off. I mean, I don't know. There's just something really, like you said, tactile and
Hmm.
physical about pinball that I really appreciate.
Yeah. And it's kind of sad. It's again, it's it's like, I guess, a lost art of sorts. I mean, a lost form of entertainment. Sadly, that the youngins won't. I don't know if they'll experience really. But maybe there's enough people that have enough of it. You know how sometimes this vintage stuff kind of comes back and everything like that. Like you're saying, like, yeah, I mean, obviously there was some sort of market for it if they're putting LCD
Mm-hmm.
screens in to watch stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
there is a
Mm-hmm.
sort of a niche market, that I think, yeah, it's worth at least putting a little bit, a couple hours into it to kind
Oh
of
yeah.
revitalize it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I I've been to a few pinball museums in my life, and this is years ago now. But when I still lived in Seattle, Tacoma, which is a city about 45 minutes south of Seattle,
Hmm.
had a pinball exposition. Like that's all it was. It was a huge expo in one of their congress centers or conference halls, and it was just like pinball machines as far as the eye could see. There was classic pinball, there was new pinball, there was homegrown pinball.
Hmm.
There was like in the center of the expo hall, there was a huge like crafty table where you could go and a specialist would fix broken boards and things like that. So you could bring your broken pinball machine components and they would fix it for you right in the middle of
Wow.
the expo. It was super cool, super cool.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, pinball's a huge amount of fun. Uh, it's yet another technology that used to be bleeding edge, isn't
Hmm.
anymore, but rather than going away, has just become yet another form of boutique entertainment, right?
Yeah. 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 I mean, I do appreciate the efforts that, like, video games try to do with pinball. I mean, it's not the same, but Pokemon Pinball comes to mind, and Metroid Pinball I think is
Mm-hmm.
underrated.
Metroid
Metroid
Pinball on the
Pinball was
DS
so
was
good.
great. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
was a really good, fun. It does everything you need to pay homage to the world of Metroid. The sounds
Mm-hmm.
were based off of, I think, Prime. I think,
Mm-hmm.
Metroid Prime One.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a good translation, but you don't get everything with a digital, with a pure video game version of pinball. But it's funny, as as we kind of once in a while harp on Nintendo, and or scream from rooftops how great it is. With how Nintendo now has the Joy Cons and got the haptic feedback and stuff like that, you
You
could do
could,
something really cool,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. I think
I
you
mean, you've got
can.
the bumpers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You could do some stuff with it, and I feel like it's like a kind of like a it's like this weird thing that could be mined for Nintendo or somebody to
I,
make a really good pinball game.
I agree.
Just rotate the screen, make
Yeah.
it long, make it
Yeah,
portrait
yeah,
size,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and then just, I don't know. I'm not sure how they would,
I
yeah, I
think it's
guess you have to
doable though.
detach yeah. Get
You
the
could
Joy
like
Cons, you just
sell a
detach them,
peripheral
and
to like
yeah,
slide the switch in sideways or whatever.
yeah, something like that would be really useful. I mean, you could try to do landscape, but you don't. It's not the
It's
same
not the
anymore. I
same.
mean,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But
but
well, I mean, for the longest time there was and I lost track, so I don't even know if they're keeping up with it. It would not surprise me to know that they were though. Zen Pinball, have you ever heard of that? Basically
Zen pinball.
it's like a it's basically a pinball game aggregator. This company like has basically a launcher, and within the launcher you have all of these pinball games, digital pinball games. Some of them are their own creation, but I believe in some instances they've actually gotten the license and taken real pinball machines and converted them into a digital space. And it's basically like almost a launcher. The launcher is free, and then you buy the different machines individually that you can then launch and play at your leisure. And I had it on the Switch. I used that a ton back in the day, but I lost track of it after I kind of drifted away. But um, also super some of the best digital pinball tables I've ever played.
Huh. So you're saying that they took old IP pinball stuff and
Some
just
of it, yeah, yeah.
wow, that sounds great.
Yeah, I mean the specialty was definitely their own original tables or their
Mhm,
licensed tables. Like they do one, I believe they did one for Indiana Jones. Uh, they've done a ton for Star Wars and a variety of other things.
mhm,
Um, but yeah, Zen Pinball. I definitely if you're looking for a pinball fix, it's probably still available on the Switch.
hmm,
You can download the launcher for free, or I think you can buy it with a few pre-installed pinball tables, and then you
mhm,
can just like pay a couple of bucks here and there to download additional tables that you enjoy.
mhm.
But yeah, if you're looking for that fix and can't find an arcade with pinball tables in it, it's the best way to satisfy that craving.
That's funny. Yeah, I'll have to kind of look that up later. Yeah, I mean, and you see stuff where people are trying to bring back the cabinets and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, and they're trying to do
Mm-hmm.
all that. They've done like mini versions of arcade
Mm-hmm.
boxes. They've done mini versions of pinball machines. That's all fine and good too. I mean, at least it's something. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree.
um, yeah, but nothing really replaces the gargantuan giant arcade boxes
Uh-uh.
of old.
Those are great. I mean,
The massive.
it's funny like how big they still feel. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, you go to the in you go to an arcade and the arcade cabinets felt like they were these towering monstrosities and you're kind of doing this while you play, right?
Yeah.
Um
Yes.
but even now like when you go to an arcade and you find those old boxes, they're surprisingly substantial pieces, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The one that comes to mind the most now, like I try to think about if you were a mover and you had to move these things, the Turtles cabinet, the multiplayer Turtles cabinet, or
Mm-hmm.
The X-Men
With
cabinet,
the super
those,
wide,
oh
yeah, yeah,
man.
yeah.
Can you imagine hauling that around?
Oof.
There was that, and also I don't know how they got the Sega hologram one in arcades without breaking it on a trailer, but it was remarkable to see one in the wild
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you're thinking about, man, all that technology that's in there. You do one wrong, you breathe on it wrong, and
yeah.
you could destroy that thing.
Well, there's a reason they didn't make too many of them. There's a reason
Yeah,
why. I'm pretty sure if you look online to find, buy one of those old cabinets. I mean, arcade machines aren't cheap to start with, but
yeah, yeah. But
those in
those,
particular are extremely expensive.
did you ever play that? I could never afford to play it as a kid. I mean, I would just watch other people play it, and I was just fascinated by the technology of it, of it all.
Yeah,
It was just neat to watch people play it.
indeed.
Um,
I did. I have I have memory of one time, and it was the fighting game one.
okay.
And I didn't really understand how to interact with the game. Died almost immediately, and then
Ugh.
never played another one.
Yeah, because you had to sink in like $3, and for a
Yeah, it
kid,
was just
that's
like
like,
it was too much money, yeah, to die in 30 seconds.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it was neat at the time. I mean, they were really trying some innovative stuff with it. I mean, I got to give Sega credit for that. The one I
Mm-hmm.
remember is the cowboy that was running around. He was sharpshooter or something like that, and he had to shoot some random character or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was just neat to see. But yeah,
It was a fun experiment. Not all
yeah,
experiments are successful.
yeah, yeah. Now, whether Sega made any money on that, obviously we've never seen any
No.
reprisal of that game in any form.
Right.
So
My bet
you
is the end
know,
is no.
yeah, yeah. But it's okay. Again, I appreciate Sega for trying. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, I think we're in pretty good shape for tonight.
Okay.
I'm just about to wrap up the last little bit, which is just get his arm in here. Um, just doing this last bit, a little tweak just to get it in there, and call it a night. We'll look at it real quick. Okay, so I still gotta lighten up his head when he
Mm-hmm.
tilts the hat. So that's what's left to do. But he now throws off the poncho and it zooms in, and he's gonna tip his hat up.
Nice.
So we've got the basic ingredients here for this shot to be pretty much considered done.
Nice. Making
So
progress. Making
making
progress.
progress, a little bit of progress every time. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Well, cool.
So
Well,
cool.
if you're watching now or catching it later, why don't you head on over to calamityjane.rocks? That'll take you to our Patreon page, and you can subscribe and consider helping us make this cartoon a reality. You can also find us on the social medias. You've probably found us since you're on, we're on Facebook and YouTube, and you're watching this. We're also on Instagram. It's just another place to find some information about the show. In the meantime, let me check my calendar. I believe I'll be around next Monday. Indeed, I don't have anything planned for next Monday, so I'll be around.
Cool. Yeah, same here.
All right, so we'll see everybody next week, and until then, have a good night out there and stay safe, everybody.
Good night.